Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Escape from Tarkov. I wanted to talk about this game as it's a really interesting survival game that's upcoming, made by a Russian developer, focusing on a story that plays out in the Novinsk region, which is a fictional region in Russia. The Novinsk region in Russia has grown into a massive gateway between Europe and Russia. Many thriving businesses are located in this region, but due to a conflict with one of these businesses and the Russian government, the whole city is plunged into chaos. The biggest company in the region, called Terra, and the Russian government have both hired mercenaries to take control over the area. We don't exactly know what they're fighting over, but that's what we'll find out by playing the game. Now, there's a lot of hype around Escape from Tarkov as it is a very ambitious project. It is supposed to be an MMO-centric game with a lot of realistic elements and gameplay. Now, what's been a little bit more difficult to find is how the game will actually function compared to DayZ, for example. So here's some key elements of how Escape from Tarkov will stack up against most survival games. So when you first start up Escape from Tarkov, you're allowed to make a character, and this character can either join Bear, which is a mercenary company hired by the Russians, or by USEC, which is also a mercenary company, but hired by the opposing force, or the biggest company in the region, which is called Terra. Now, the game will feature an 8 square kilometer area where you can find your base, your missions, your trading zones, and all that kind of stuff. But you're not limited to that. You also have a 16 square kilometer free roam area where you're allowed to do whatever you want. As I said before, you are a mercenary. You're not there for anybody else's gain, you're just there for money and get the most out of it. If you can get a hold of valuable items, equipment, or weapons, you can all sell this stuff at your own base and get more money, which allows you to get more upgrades for yourself. So do not trust your teammates, do not trust anybody in this zone. But the mercenaries aren't your only problem. You also have scavengers going around. Scavengers are basically the civilians that used to live in the region but are now forced to survive on their own. But since they are just civilian, their kit won't be as good as what the mercenaries will have. But there's another reason why these scavengers' kit won't be as good as what the mercenaries will have. The scavengers will mostly be controlled by AI, but they can also be controlled by players. Players who do not want to risk their main character stuff can also play as these scavengers. Whilst playing as a scavenger in these zones, you're also allowed to transfer some of the gear from these scavengers to your main character. Keep in mind that all these scavengers will get preset random gear and health conditions, so they might already be half dead before you actually get your hands on them. So let's talk a little bit more about the specific features of the game. You'll be needing to take very good care of your character and also your equipment. There is permadeath in this game, so if you die, you will lose all the stuff that is on your character. You can, however, store stuff in secret stashes. They also mention that every action has an effect on reputation. If your reputation is good, you will get better deals with your purchases at your base. If your reputation is affected in the free roam zone, however, by, for example, killing your friends, is not clear. The game will feature both first-person and third-person cameras. Weapon customization will be a major thing in this game, as you can literally just change anything about your weapon. You will be dealing with jamming, overheating, and maintaining your weapons. Back at home in base, you'll be able to trade all your newly obtained gear and weapons with other players. You can, however, also set up an auction in the auction house. And lastly, there will be a skill tree with 4 different skill categories: physical, mental, combat, and practical. Within these skill trees, you will have 100 of different skills to choose from, but you do need to make sure that you maintain them. If you don't put your skill points in a certain skill for long enough, your skills will degrade. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I hope you found this video informative. I am super hyped for Escape from Tarkov, and I hope you are too.